created the Legislative Office of Education Oversight, replacing the Education Review Committee, but had a more wide-range role. LOEO was established in House Bill 66. Some of the members of the LOEO committee did not like the results of the studies of the charter schools, and thus they shot the messenger. And I was through that battle. I was in the Senate when the Speaker of the House then, John Husted, eliminated the LOEO in the state budget. Randy Gardner and I, the senators, was able to get that provision back into the Senate in the budget bill. It went to conference committee and again was eliminated. So that was the end of us trying to understand this pilot project and what was going on. And I've saved every one of the reports. I have everything on a disk. I've even reviewed some of the comments from my Senate time and the reports back then. They are glaring on the type of concepts we need to be looking at. For example, some of the concepts that we actually have highlighted here and throughout our headlines on the corruption and malfeasance of charter school operators who are now spending jail time, the auditor trying to recover monies from the charter schools. We need to know a number of questions. I've been interested in knowing lately if our charter school members and operators are U.S. citizens. Don't know that. I want to know if there's any kind of out of country. I know there's a lot of out of state things going on. Operators and management companies from out of state, monies go out of state, they're not being held here. It's hard to contract and get to know, even from a parent's point of view, the kinds of questions they want answered, and they can't seem to get the answer. Is the motivation of the charter school operators primarily to educate or to make money? Are charter school operators trained in education? How much of the charter school funding leaves Ohio via out-of-state management companies? And how much of the charter school money is spent for advertising? And is that advertising true? So there are a lot of things that we need to know on the efficiencies of the regulations they're exempt from, which they're exempted from 270 statutes. And a lot of those statutes are mandated for the public education system, and that requires money that the districts have to come up with. So we need to have those reviewed, the regulations, to see whether they work or they don't. And the original pilot was to find out if those regulations are overburdensome and they are more efficient and give a better outcome for the pilot charter school, then it was to be applied to the traditional public school system. So these kinds of questions need to be drawn out, and we've had this enacted since 1998. We started out with 15 schools, $11 million. The enrollment was 2,224, and to date we have nearly 400 schools, 120,000 students, and $871 million. And we still don't have any answers to the original questions, and the promised 5-year review is quite late. So with that, we are starting to really put, I think, the public pressure to public officials in answering these important questions, because the dollars are few. We need to collaborate, and we need to have the same high standards apply for all public school systems. And I think that's the bottom line. And then I want to cue you up to a bill that I've already introduced, the 3rd grade reading guarantee being delayed 2 years. So that's another important issue. I think with the testing that was just finished up for those 3rd graders, and the big question on whether or not they're going to be spending time with remediation. The school schedule is going to be changing. Their summer vacations are going to be changing. Parents are on edge. 3rd graders are on edge. And we want to speak to you about that bill next week. Are there any questions?